I would encourage you to keep it to yourself. You guys need to put as much effort into this first, in intrapersonally, before you kind of like speak it into existence, like in the mirror, like you get like that positive self-talk. If you're looking for other people to support you in that way, I would just wait until you really start to get down this path before you open it up to everyone. That's just my personal opinion. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thank you for stopping by. I'm saying it here right now. This is going to be your go-to destination for personal growth and development. You're not going to want to go anywhere else, okay? Because we're doing a lot of stuff, bouncing off some of our previous life experiences. The whole idea and the premise of that is to help you guys avoid the same mistakes that I did. So in today's video, we're going to take a deep dive into how to create a personal development plan. So let's jump right into it. Before we get started, card in the top right-hand corner. If you haven't checked out my last video kind of goes over my last 6 months. It's not a deep dive into everything that I did in the last 6 months, but it will just kind of it'll set the precedent for why I'm making this video today and why it's going to be important moving forward with the channel. Because as you'll see in the video, the last 6 months I've been, just in a situational depression. It pretty much destroyed my life, making a bunch of mistakes. And a lot of things contributed to that whole thing. But again, I'm not going to dive too much into that in this video. Again, card in the top right-hand corner. Go check that out, and you'll kind of understand why we're here today. So, personal development plan. In the past, I've created these before. I've done it several times, written them out. I wish I had a copy. I used to do. So, I have a lot of books that I would keep track of notes and everything. So I just try to write as much stuff out, especially when I'm really in a positive mindset in my personal growth, in my life. That kind of keeps me on the right track. It's very important, I believe, to have those things written out so that they're tangible. You can always go back and say, well, why didn't this work? And if you have it written down, you can kind of document the process essentially. And so it's going to be pretty imperative that if you guys want to follow along with this 30-day development plan and you want to create your own, which is the premise of this video, hopefully give you guys some tools to develop your own personal development plan, I think it's going to be very important to write stuff down. Again, it doesn't have to be exactly how I do it here, but it's just going to be much easier for you guys so that you can track your progress. It's very important to track. Otherwise, how are you going to know that you're doing anything better than what you did, right? You want to avoid going into those negative mindsets, the situational depression, if you've experienced that in your life, or any form of depression. So again, writing it down, super important, in my opinion. So 30-day development plan. This is kind of what, again, I typed this up at work, printed it off. So what I'm going to do is, hopefully, if you guys just be patient, follow along with me. I'm just going to kind of go through the weeks here. Again, 30 days, so you're going to have about 4 weeks, a full month of tracking and writing down and following your own journey. And think of it like it's a process, right? It's not going to come overnight, and you're going to have to really put some effort into it. You got to be intentional with what you're doing. So again, follow along, be patient with me. I'm going to go through these and kind of, I did not write everything out exactly how I'm going to do it. This is sort of a rough draft because I want to do this video for you guys and an effort to kind of help you guys create your own. So here we go. 30-day self-development plan. Week 1 is going to be dedicated to self-reflection and mindset. So this is how I'm going to break it down. You guys can break it down however you want. This is just a guideline. So day 1 through 3, self-discovery. Some topics here that I kind of just wanted to focus on from my perspective. Again, you guys just, whatever it is that you guys want to focus on from a 30-day self-development plan, that's how you guys would do it for you. So you don't have to copy it verbatim from the way I'm going to say it. Spend time journaling about your values, passions, strengths, and areas for growth. Reflect on past experiences and identify patterns or habits that may be holding you back. Again, I'm coming off 6 months of just absolutely making the most terrible decisions, being in an extremely negative frame of mind, the mindset that, so I'm doing and trying to follow through on a huge mindset shift. And I've done it in the past, like I've said multiple times. But again, it's all going to be based off your preference and exactly what you're trying to do. So identifying those patterns, very important. Set specific goals for your personal development plan, focusing on areas such as emotional intelligence, resilience, and self-confidence. For me, self-confidence has always been hard because I always feel like I'm not good enough. Even now, like I'm doing these videos, hoping someone out there is struggling, and that anything that I put out is going to be helpful and just change one life. That's really all I care about, because I know everyone watching these videos, if you are watching, has the ability to be extremely successful in your lives. I don't believe it's just something designated for only the super elite people, or everyone has their own set of issues and obstacles to overcome. And that doesn't mean that you just get to, or that you're just unfortunate or you can't achieve great things. I believe everyone has those abilities. We just got to draw them out. And unfortunately, life's going to throw us a whole bunch of obstacles to try to overcome. And our minds are also going to battle with us. It's going to be very difficult to overcome those challenges. But this type of plan, this 30-day self-development plan, is really going to be a Kickstarter to hopefully, if you're following along, if you're really putting the intention behind it, to change your life and change your life for the better. Day 4 to 7, positive mindset. Practice gratitude by listing 3 things you're thankful for each day. And I'll just say right here, like the 3 things that I'm thankful for: my wife, who's just supported me through my lowest of lows, especially these last 6 months. My newborn daughter. I mean, she's not newborn. She's almost 4 weeks, so almost a month old. And grateful for my family. My family is also there, who I just know I can reach out whenever I'm going through a tough time. So listing those, the 3 things you're going to be grateful for each day, it's very important that you understand that you do have the support. It makes doing this so much easier. Okay, guys? So that's week 1. Week 2, physical health and wellness. I can't stress enough how important physical health and wellness is. If you're not feeling good on the inside, you're not going to feel good, for your mental clarity. And if you're, I always say physical, mental, and spiritual. So if you're religious in any sort of way, that can really be helpful for you guys as well. If you're not religious, I was agnostic for a long time, and I'm really starting to find ways to develop my relationship with God. Thankful I've got family members who found Jesus Christ, and he helped save them. So I'm really hoping that I can go down that path as well, just as another way to open my heart to more opportunities, and just not have so much weight on my shoulders, just knowing that there's someone else out there who is bigger than all of us, who can kind of carry that load. So week 2, day 8 to 10, establishing a fitness routine. Listen, guys, this fitness routine can be the most basic thing you could ever think of. If you have not done any sort of physical exercise before, literally just doing 5 to 10 push-ups a day, or Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays. I mean, I'm lucky in the sense that I have been a personal trainer before. I've really devoted a lot of my time from an athlete standpoint to my physical wellness. So I'm not, I'm no stranger to developing plans. If anyone's interested out there who's watching this video, if you want just some sort of simple guide or simple fitness routine to get you started, I'd be more than happy to help you guys with that. I'm not gonna, of course, I wouldn't charge you anything. You can reach out to my email. If my email is up in my YouTube, reach me through that email, or go to my Instagram. It's all on my channel somewhere. Like I said, if you're interested, I'd love to help you guys out. You don't have to, you don't have to try to figure it out yourself. You can, I would love to help out. Also, the internet's got a bunch of stuff. There's so many websites now. There's so many other influencers and people out there that are spreading really good information. So really, it's not that hard to find. You just got to, again, be intentional. So establishing a fitness routine, very important. Research and select a workout routine that aligns with your goals and preferences. Obviously, you're not going to go, it wouldn't be ideal for someone who doesn't have a lot of exercise and physical fitness experience to go out and try to do 5 days a week, a bodybuilding type routine, or what they call like a bro split. You know what I mean? So tailor it to your life. Don't overwhelm yourself, because this is already going to be somewhat overwhelming, especially if you're still struggling to try to come out of some sort of situational depression. The whole point is to try to corral what the thoughts that are going on inside your mind. You don't want to just completely bombard it with it's like sensory overload. You don't want to do that. So just keep it very simple. It can just be walking. I mean, again, so many different options out there for you guys. So schedule regular exercise sessions throughout the week and commit to sticking to them. Explore different types of physical activities such as strength training, cardio, and flexibility exercises. Again, you can couple this all into a couple different days and spread it out, whatever you want to do. So many different options out there. Day 11 through 14, healthy eating habits. Just as important, if not more important than the physical exercise, what you guys put into your body has a extremely magnificent, and the magnitude of what we put into our bodies is really, it's undervalued for sure. And it's a big problem in society right now. There's so much crap floating around. It's not good. It really throws off the entire chemical balance of the human body. And if you're not eating healthy, it could be a contributing factor to the mental health breakdowns and actually pushing us forward into a depression. So very important. Again, you guys just start doing some simple research. And again, just like I mentioned with the physical fitness program, although I'm doing this as well, this 30-day self-development plan, I have done this before. I have overcome this before. The goal with this is to completely shatter my previous self. I don't ever want to try. It's going to be difficult. All right, I'm saying this right now. This isn't going to be easy. My goal is to completely shatter the person that I was, that I have been this past 6 months. I don't ever want to be that person again. I'm constructing the foundations to make sure that does not happen, in addition to having a strong support system around me. That's my goal with this. Your guys' goals, hopefully, whatever it is that you want to. And again, you guys can apply this to whatever you want. It doesn't have to just be a personal growth journey. It can be a career, like a self-development plan for your career or relationships. Tailor it to whatever it is that you're struggling with. It doesn't have to just be this. So this is just guidelines, okay, guys? So that's week 2, physical health and wellness. Week 3, emotional intelligence and relationships. The last 6 months, where most of my problems stemmed from, was with my own personal emotional intelligence and my relationship with my wife. Made some terrible decisions that weren't conducive to a positive, open relationship with her. A lot of lying, and disrespected her, and in turn disrespected myself and our families. So that's a huge moving point for me, and that's really what this whole thing for me is centered around: bettering my relationships with my wife, being a better father, being a better brother, better son. So that's kind of my goal behind it. Again, define what your goals are. It's going to be different for all of you. So day 15 to day 17, self-awareness. Practice mindfulness to cultivate self-awareness and presence. Reflect on your emotions and learn to identify and express them in a healthy way. I'm not good at expressing my emotions. I am so prone to keeping everything in because from my past traumas, I did not have the type of upbringing that it was conducive to sharing emotions. My father, who raised us mostly by himself, five kids, was also the same way. So a lot of these things, I kind of, when you're a kid and you're like a sponge, you soak up exactly how, at least your environments, especially the ones that you spend the most time with. My father was more emotionless than emotional because he had to take care of 5 kids. My mom wasn't in the picture, so he was doing this all alone. So that's kind of where I started to pick up a lot of that. And over time, it just got progressively worse. I never really put the work behind it to really make it better. So that's going to be a huge point moving forward for me. Seek feedback from trusted friends and mentors about your strengths and areas for improvement. Constructive criticism is very important. If you're going to have someone in your life that's going to potentially help support you, you've got to be ready to receive some sort of, whether that's positive or negative. Okay, that does not mean that it's attack on you. If you're really sincere and honest with yourself, you'll understand that, like I just did, reflecting on these past 6 months, that I really have been in such a bad place and I was not seeing it. My wife at the time was trying to tell me and like bring that out of me. And it was just so hard. I had to hit absolute rock bottom find myself back in this place. So don't run away from the negative feedback that you might be receiving from someone. It's just in an effort to help you overcome, okay? Day 18 to 21, building empathy. So practice active listening to your conversations with others, focusing on understanding their perspectives. Guys, I know how easy it is to just be trapped in your own worldview without taking in the perspectives of everyone else's worldview. What's easy to someone might be hard for another. What's hard for some person might be easy for another. So empathy really is trying to understand exactly how they feel about that and not over analyzing or being overcritical of where they're at. And that goes double for ourselves. Don't be so hard on yourself, especially when you're early on in this journey. Again, I know I'm going to destroy this previous version of myself because I've done it before, and I know exactly what I don't want to. I know exactly what I don't want to be anymore, and I'm saying that now, but it's going to happen because I've gotten so sick of the yo-yoing effect of my situational depression and the kind of roller coaster, if you would, that I put my family and my wife through. That's the driving force for me. That's the motivation. Engage in acts of kindness and empathy towards others, such as volunteering or offering support to a friend in need. Guys, these types of acts of kindness and empathy can happen anywhere at any time. And I know when you're struggling, it's very hard to put yourself in that position because what's likely happening is you're not being empathetic towards yourself. So before this is just a guideline, but I would just start by showing empathy to yourself. In doing so, you'll in turn start spreading little small acts of kindness to everyone else. And listen, it's really as simple as like holding the door open for someone. That is a fire starter. It's a Kickstarter for really allowing yourself to do that more and more and more. It's the small things that make a huge difference. So don't neglect the small things, okay? It says it right there. Little small acts of kindness really make a big impact. Reflect Reflect on commonalities. And differences between yourself and others. Cultivating empathy and compassion. So commonalities. Find the commonalities amongst friends, amongst peer groups, whatever it is that you're really. If you're going to volunteer, whatever the case is, find the common ground with everyone. Again, as I mentioned, everyone's worldview is going to be different. So you just want to try to use your empathy to find that level of understanding and grow from it. All right, so week 4, going into our last week here, personal growth and goal setting. So day 22 to day 24, it's lifelong learning. That's pretty self-explanatory. This is going to be an evolving document for yourself, and it doesn't just have to stop at 30 days. Once you outline your 30 days, you self-evaluate towards the end. I'll explain this once we get to day 29 and 30, but the self-reflection part, that's kind of where this really comes in. So lifelong learning. Choose a new skill or hobby to explore and dedicate time each day to learning and practicing it. Again, this can be whatever it is you guys want to put into practice. Listen to podcasts, read books, and take online courses related to personal growth and development. I've got a whole stack of books that I've procured over a very long time. I love reading. Reading obviously is just one aspect of it. Applying what you read and what you learn is actually a whole separate thing. So it's reading and then applying what you're learning. They're not always easy to do because if it was easy, then everyone would do it, right? I could have a book on personal development, but if I'm not going to put anything into literal practice, then I'm not going to really learn anything from what I read. So at that point, it's just words. And by the way, in terms of how you guys are going to approach this, I would encourage you to keep it to yourself. You guys need to put as much effort into this first, intrapersonally, before you kind of like speak it into existence, like in the mirror, like you can, like that positive self-talk. If you're looking for other people to support you in that way, I would just wait until you really start to get down this path before you open it up to everyone. That's just my personal opinion. Day 25 to day 28, setting SMART goals. So review your initial goals and assess your progress. Start in your first, week. Write down the goals of whatever those goals are as you've written them down and attribute them to whatever it is that you're trying to develop through and grow through. Constantly evolve those. If you feel like you've met that goal, great. Actually mark it down on your sheet of paper or your notebook or whatever you have, and annotate when you completed that goal, so that at the end of this 30 days, you can say, boom, done. Check that off the box, and you can evolve from that goal moving into your next 30 days. So the SMART criteria, for most people who don't know what SMART is specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound, to refine and set new goals for the upcoming weeks and months. So again, be specific about the goal. Is it measurable? Is it achievable? Is it too unrealistic? Relevant? Is that goal relevant to what you're trying to achieve? If you want to have better relationships, you wouldn't set a goal for trying to whatever. You get the point. You just make sure it's relevant to the literal goal that you're trying to achieve, and time bound. So 30 days is kind of like our time constraint in achieving these small goals. So again, you don't want it to be insurmountable, the goal that you're trying to achieve, because this is 30 days. You could do 60 days, you could do 90 days. I prefer the 30-day breakdown because it's something every month that you get to just kind of revamp and reflect on that previous 30 days. So finally, day 29 to 30, reflection and then celebration. Reflect on your journey over the past 30 days and acknowledge the progress you've made. Celebrate your successes no matter how small, and recognize the effort you've put into your personal development plan. Set intentions for continued growth and commit to integrating those habits and practices into your daily life moving forward. And this is what I was getting at before when I said lifelong learning and kind of touched on the reflection aspect of it. The self-reflection aspect of it is going to be, after your 30 days, go through that list, measure your goals. Did you attain them? And again, it's okay if you don't hit every single one of them, guys. This is as I mentioned, it's an evolving document. The whole point is to grow. Even if you wrote down 5 goals and you just achieved one, you've achieved something. And this is where I mentioned, don't be so hard on yourself. It's so easy to beat ourselves up for something that, we feel like we should be doing more. Guys, listen, this is a very important step. It's when you've realized that you've gotten to this stage in your life and you've been beaten, you've been kicked around. This is a huge step forward to really becoming the person that you've envisioned your whole life. I've had that in my head for such a long time, since I was a teenager, of the person I wanted to be. And listen, the path to get to where you want to go is obviously much easier if you go straight. But life is going to throw you curveballs, and it's just inevitable that you're going to fall off the path every once in a while. Having something like this makes sure that you find yourself back on the straight and narrow, the path that gets you to become the person you're trying to be. Again, it's not always going to be easy, but by doing this and constantly evolving with it and yourself, you will attain that person. You will become that person. You just got to put the work in. And again, expect to fall. Have people around you that can pick you back up, but you've got to be able to pick yourself back up. Throughout those 6 months that I was struggling, it was a tailspin of emotion, and I was really lost. But when it finally got to that point, I was able to see. And again, I can't give you a specific date on exactly when that might be a realization for you. You just have to be self-aware enough to know what the heck you're going through. Even the people around you, no matter what they're saying, if they're saying, hey, are you okay? Something seems off. It's very possible that something is off, but you don't always see it right away because our mind is so powerful, and our vices that attach us to those negative behaviors are extremely powerful. But I'm telling you right now, I've overcome a lot. And if I can overcome a lot with such little, I've got a lot of skills now, but at the time, I've overcome a lot with such little skills and little understanding of exact how to approach them. I've spent probably 15 years of writing stuff down in a notebook such as this, making 30-day self-development plans. Again, I've fallen off that path many times, but I always find myself back on, and this is the time where I'm finally stepping into the person that I know I'm capable of becoming, because I've now, I'm saying it out loud, obviously, in terms of you've got to put yourself in the shoes of the person that you're trying to become, and that's not always easy. In the Army, it's called fake it till you make it. But I believe in you. And doing something like this is going to make sure that you at least continue down that path. What does that look like when you finally become that person? I think the whole point of personal development is you might not ever really achieve that ultimate goal that you see for yourself, but by striving towards it, you at least make sure that each day, each week, you are becoming better. That ultimate attainable goal is great. And maybe at the end of your life, you're going to be like, I made it. And that's good. That's going to be great for a lot of people. But it's the journey. It's not the destination. The journey is really what makes us better for all the people involved, yourself and the people around you included. The last thing I want to touch on, I kind of touched on a little bit throughout, is accountability and support. Bring people in that you know are not going to bring you down. You don't just want to bring anyone in here. If you can attribute some sort of negative habit that you have to an individual, I'm not saying cut that person off. That's going to be your own personal decision. If you're trying to change who you've been and you know that there's people in your life that haven't really suited you or have been a negative contributing factor to your life, you make that determination. Obviously, who am I to tell you to just cut someone off? I would say cut them off, but again, it's your life. You need to live it. You need to make your own personal choices. But my recommendation would be to, at the very least, explain what you're trying to achieve. Hey, so-and-so, I'm not happy with the person I've been. The things that we do, although fun, have only contributed to my negative self-talk, my negative mindset, how I see and view myself, and I can't have that. Could we potentially hang out and do things maybe after 30, 60, 90 days, whatever the case? Potentially. I would love to try. But I think you'll find that after that time and after putting in so much effort into changing, you might just realize that it's just not a good fit for you. And you don't have to separate negatively. Just be quite honest and, straightforward with exactly how you want to approach it. And I hope that they would understand. And potentially you could help change their lives if it's a negative type of, again, not negative relationship, but like maybe it might open their eyes to some of the things that they were doing and potentially push them to go down a journey, a self-development journey that really ultimately helps better their own lives and the people around them. So it's a continuous growth, guys. This is just one way that you can do it. Again, you just tailor it to however you want and continuously grow from it. Constantly evaluate exactly where you're at. And again, don't be so hard on yourself. If you're making progress, continue to just evolve from this document. Have everything written out. I wanted to just kind of quick show you guys. Like I break down everything from, you're not really going to see it, but I've got nutrition tab. I've got an exercise tab. I break down all the weeks in this notebook so that I can constantly touch on every part of that. Relationship for me is going to be the biggest one, and I'll be able to put a lot of intentionality behind everything that we just went over. So that's going to wrap it up. Self-development plan, guys. This is going to be a 30-day. Again, tailor it to your lives and actually act on it. Don't just, like I'm saying it here now, some of you behind the camera might be like, okay, whatever. And I just want to preface that this video isn't going to be for the individuals that feel like they have it all together. That's great. If you have it all together, then you don't need this video. It's for the ones that really feel like they've let themselves down, because I know I have let myself down, and in turn I've let down a lot of people that love me, and I don't want to be that person anymore. I won't be that person anymore. So 30-day development plan, guys. If you want any more information on that, again, please reach out to me. You can reach me on Instagram. You can, I think my email's on there. I might have to double check. I'll drop my Instagram down into the comments as well, and let me know. Let me know if you guys are on this journey and what you guys want to see. My thought behind this 30-day, I want to try to document as much as I possibly can. My work, I'm going to figure it out. You let me know in the comments. If there's something specific you guys want to see from a video standpoint of the documentation side of this, I can update my 30-day plan and just kind of go over with some videos exactly where I'm at. Maybe like a weekly video at least with some sort of update on my 30-day plan. I think that might be helpful. But again, I'd love to hear you guys' feedback on that. If there's anything you guys want to specifically see as we go through this process together, just let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts. With all that being said, don't be too hard on yourself, guys. This is going to be a messy journey, but it can be done. And I believe in you. And we all have the ability to become better people for ourselves and better people for the people around us. So don't stop, don't quit. Whatever you do, don't quit. It's going to be messy, but you can make it through.